Yeah, what up, everybody? It's your boy Dave Noodles. We are on the Type 88 show. I just want to welcome a special guest. This guy has been a friend of mine for close to a decade. And when I met him, he was working. And when I just saw him hop in the Zoom call, he just finished working. So this guy, he doesn't stop. He's always putting his head down, and he's a little silent, but he's always making moves, and he's he's big on helping the artist community. There's dozens of artists that have worked with him, and he's made their visual more appealing and more eye candy to the world. So this guy is constantly on his grind, and I'm grateful to have him on the show. I got my dude Chris Kelly from Iconic Visions. What's up, dude?
What's going on, man? I'm very grateful to be here. I appreciate you taking your time and allowing me to get my words out and just vibe out a little bit with you because it's been a little while, but I mean always seeing your grind too has been inspiring. So it's great.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it's what a. Uh, I always try to think of like where we are now, and then where we started, and
Hmm.
I always do that with whoever I know, and I'm like, wow, when we met, it was at least 6 7 years ago
Hmm.
at a, I believe at a ninja themed party. I think that
Hmm.
was about the time we met at the cipher,
Yes.
and it's so crazy if you just think about everything we both, all the life that's happened since, and you've been grinding, bro. I remember that day you just showed up, and like a few months later you had like a full produced video that blew my mind, and you've just been constantly killing it. Like it's amazing, man. When did you even get into the video and the photography and all that? Like when was it, when did that start for you?
It's actually funny because I always like in high school, I would make montage clips with like videos of friends, just getting together. I always had like one of those DV camcorders with the tapes in it, old school. Um, and then it took me a little bit longer to really step into photography. I started as video, and looking back, I always had tons of photos from like digital cameras, and then every time I would look back at them, they were so blurry, everything's like out of focus or like weird angles. And like maybe there was like five or six out of each, because we used to have, I would go to like Walmart and get them printed out because, you get
Yeah.
the actual physical back with us before everything became like pretty much digital. So yeah, I mean, most of the photos were really just looking back at them terrible. So it took a little bit while. It took a little while to actually get the photography down, but I definitely do enjoy the mix of it. Transitioning from sometimes I'll do video or sometimes I'll do strictly stick with photo. Um, and then just yeah, I started on Windows Movie Maker editing, and then I took a class in high school that was geared towards Final Cut, and it was the old Final Cut, so it was Final Cut 7, and I loved that version of it. And then they came out with the Final Cut X, and to me, it kind of felt like iMovie's like Big Brother. It kind of like I had a whole different feel, a whole different layout. And then that's when I switched to Adobe Premiere, and I've just been running the Adobe suite. So that's kind of like how I got into it. And I think it was really more in college. I went to St. John's in Queens, so they
So did
had
my
like
mom.
a
That's cool.
oh yeah, they had like a basically a film department, but they didn't have a ton of equipment to rent out. So when I had to do projects, I was like, what am I going to do? Do I want to wait for people? I kind of like doing it on my own time and not, if something's rented out, then I have to wait. So I ended up just getting a DSLR because I had a little bit of money stashed away. And then from there, I just kind of been upgrading and picking equipment when I can and just learning a lot more.
That's freaking dope, man. So I like that you didn't wait. I feel like I believe in timing. I believe in the right moment to get
Mm,
you maybe getting your foot in the door. Or you meet someone, it takes you to the next level. But I feel like when you have a dream, you got to be proactive.
mm-hmm.
It's not like, oh, you want to do this, man. Oh, you're a good kid. Here's a camera. Like, no, like you worked your ass off.
Mm,
You saved up for that moment when you needed something to, which was kind of your weapon of choice in your
mm-hmm.
creative world. And then you were able, once you got it, it enabled you to have a new power. Like you're a superhero, you got a sword or you got
Mm-hmm.
a laser beam. You could do different things, and that was your weapon, your creative weapon. And I'm big on getting the right equipment.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what creative you are, if you're making shirts or if you're DJing, getting the right equipment pays big dividends than kind of settling.
Mm-hmm.
It's like settling for someone you're gonna marry. Like, no way. Like you want the piece that makes sense, not the talking as a person piece, but you
Mm-hmm.
want the right thing for you.
Yeah,
And you got the right piece for you, and here you are, man, just been grinding it out. And that's dope that you just went out and got your own camera at that time.
yeah, I
What camera?
appreciate
What
it.
camera was that?
It was actually the Canon 7D. So
Gotcha.
back then I kind of like did a little research and everything, and then finally just like, because what I felt is like if I'll second guess myself a lot, like as far as like buying something, because obviously camera equipment's an investment, but like, and then just with technology now, it's like as soon as you buy something, the next month something new is coming out. So it's like, do I wait? Do I not wait? So I feel like if I don't do it like right away, then I'm just gonna keep like, oh, should I do it now? Should I do it now? And then finally it's like a year later and I'm like, damn, I should have just bought that when I could have done so much with it.
Yeah, and I feel like, bro, like when you bring a feeling to something,
Hmm.
it doesn't matter what operating system you're using, and like if you think of like Q-Tip when he was making the beats for early Tribe
Hmm.
albums, like what did he have? You know what I mean? He probably had a 4-track with the MPC and just a mic.
Hmm.
But the feeling that you bring to something, I feel is really that secret sauce.
Hmm.
No matter what, and we know. Did you? I don't know if you heard of that guy who recorded an album in the Apple Store.
Yes, I did actually,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is which is dope.
You just if you got that feeling, I feel like it just capture it. And if there's a way to deliver it to the world, you're doing God's work right there. So that's special, man. That's cool that you cop the camera and you've been just leveling up ever since. That's dope.
Definitely appreciate it. Yeah, and like, yeah, like you said, there's just, yeah, so many, I mean, now there's so many different avenues you can kind of like take it. And I know there's different like social medias that have been blowing up, obviously TikTok. And just for me, kind of like seeing a lot of creatives, like you said before, how, I mean, I'm very big on trying to like big up everybody that I can. If you have dope work, like why wouldn't I share it, because then somebody else can get eyes on it, and then through that, it can help that artist, get more publicity or more money to keep on doing it. So I just feel like the creative aspect of some of these newer social medias are kind of more inclusive and more authentic, I would say. And I just kind of feel like now, not that it's easier because you still have to put in the work, but I feel like there's a little difference than like when we were doing it, which is totally fine. But I just kind of love to see, kind of, we're a little bit older now, so seeing how things translate and things change, and I don't know, it's kind of cool to me just to see the new levels and the new generations, because there's so many creative people out there now.
Yeah, yeah. It's really cool. It's it's interesting because I haven't really even used TikTok, but I know it. There's just all these other worlds of, and I know people that they have basically a full-time business on Poshmark, or they
Mhm.
have a full-time business because of TikTok, and it's
Mhm.
what I've learned from the pandemic, bro. 2 words: undivided attention.
Mhm.
If you invest your time into somebody fully or something fully, you're gonna see fruits of the labor.
Mhm.
And I think the people crushing it are putting the most effort in. You know, they're spending countless hours.
Mhm.
You
Oh,
know.
it's actually really funny because, like, I'll see some of the videos on TikTok because I actually am on that, and, like, I give a lot of credit to people who actually use the app to edit it, because I feel like that old person in the room now. I'm like, "How do I do this?" You know? How do I edit with this? How are they doing this?" And for me, if I can't do it in TikTok, then I'm just bringing it into Premiere, which I know, editing it there, and then actually just posting it in that platform. But it's cool to see, like, other people using that strictly as their, like, means and coming up with something amazing.
Yeah. And what I like too, it reminds me of hip hop too, where just it's sampling.
Mhm.
It's like you're taking something like someone
Mhm.
else's voiceover, but you're mixing it with it. So I love that.
That's
And
a beautiful way to put it.
I just love because I think we have to kind of accept the fact that, you know, like someone doing magic, is that original? But they could do it their own way. You know,
Mhm.
it's like we can't just invent new things,
Mhm.
but we could mix things in our own way to make our own flavor.
Mhm. Exactly.
And I
Adding our
think
own flavor on it.
and I like that about TikTok because it enables the sampling because there's there's all these copyright strikes and all these, you know, you post something on Insta, you're
Mhm.
using the sounds of this because there's all this monetization and stuff and who controls what, and also are you representing certain brands don't want to be represented in like a weird way with someone's
Mhm.
video in the back.
Mhm.
It may misrepresent. But then on the other hand, there's there's people who posted stuff with songs in the background that have completely blown it up. So I think that's what's cool about the internet. It's like a tool. It's like, do you use it to mess shit up or do you use it to inspire?
Mhm. Yeah, I love the collaboration feel of it, and just using that sampling as like an example. That's probably the perfect way to put it, because it's just that's exactly what you can do. You can just incorporate a piece of their video, or you can just incorporate words, and that just adds like a whole new dynamic.
It's cool. I don't know if you ever think of this, but do you ever think of like the root of inspired stuff? Like, do you ever see like I'll look at a hip hop thing and I'll be like, I'll like a hip hop song and I'll be
Mhm.
like, oh man, this rooted from Kanye
Mhm.
because it's like it has this sound, it has this thing, and then or I'll be like, oh, this rooted from Travis Scott,
Mhm.
or this, oh wow, this is a Q-tip. Do you
What
ever
I
like,
Yeah, I think kind of like growing up, that happened more to me, because in the beginning I would hear all these songs, and like I didn't know about sampling in the beginning, so I was just like, "Oh, these are awesome." And then like you start getting into different genres and you start picking pieces of songs, and you're like, "Wait a minute. This wasn't this artist?" Like, and then as that grew on and I just realized more about, like, learning more about sampling and stuff, I was like, "Yeah, you know, this was inspired by that person." But like even in my everyday life, just there could just be something I walk past photography wise, and I'm like, "Oh, that'll inspire me," for like a full concept, or just seeing a picture and I'm like, "Oh, I could do it this way." You know, there's just a whole different, there's so many, and I just say, like, really inspiration can come from anywhere. And just uh, it's just really, yeah, definitely think about that a lot.
yeah, I think of that. I'm like, damn, I was like, if Kanye, you know how you sample someone's record, you get paid off that. I'm like, damn, if like I'm a big Kanye fan, as
Hmm.
you could see, but I'm like, imagine if artists got paid for the who they inspired.
Mm,
And I'm like, yo, Kanye would be a trillionaire right
yeah.
now. Not even billion. Because if you think about how many people started businesses
Mm-hmm.
off his pure like templates
Mm-hmm.
of just a way a jogger is made or the way a jacket is flows. You know what I mean? Or like if or hip hop alone, bro. Like
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes it just makes me think of the originators. I'm like, yo, we gotta put on for Cool Herc and these guys
Mm-hmm.
that may not even be getting streams from anything. You know what I mean? Like, do they have songs that are currently being streamed? Like, we got to really honor these dudes that really paved the way in terms of the founders of hip hop, and you know what I
Absolutely.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Because, like you said, you don't know, like Cool Herc being like the originator, like kind of, you don't know what he's been given in a sense. I mean, there was took what, like 40 years for a lot of people to actually even like say that he was a creator, you know? So, or to be recognized like that well. This some people probably still don't even know the origin, the origin.
Yeah, it's crazy, bro. Like, I was watching a Takashi documentary on Showtime,
Mhm.
and his boy from who basically kind of got out of the label a few weeks before a lot of stuff hit the fan.
Mhm.
He was like, "Yo, this guy doesn't even listen to. He doesn't even know a Biggie song. He's from Brooklyn,
Mhm.
so it's like these whole. It's like there's a there's a gap, but I don't know. I'm a little opinionated on it
Mhm.
because sometimes you miss it, right? You're born in '95, and you can't, or you're. I know people now born in 2000s,
Mhm.
like good friends of mine that were born in the year 2000.
Yeah.
And Biggie, they've heard about him, but they missed the golden age of hip hop.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like their golden age is thank me later, and take care. And which are special years for me as well. But it's interesting how all that is, and I feel like it's important to do your history. R.I.P. to Mac Miller.
Mhm.
I feel like that was something he was very big on in terms of really when he entered the game. You could tell he studied the game.
Mhm.
And I feel like if you're gonna be in a world, if you're gonna come into some sport, you gotta know your history. If you want to keep, and you see, bro, Jay Z, Kanye, anyone who's came in and they knew they were gonna make an impact, you see how much homage they pay to the
Mhm.
person who basically opened the door for them, bro. Like, so I could get deep and sentimental about hip hop probably all day, but here you are, man. You've been just grinding it out. Could you remember that first music video that you filmed for someone? Like, how did that work out? Because I know when you're coming in the game, you don't have much. You may not have a reel. You may be starting out. Like, do you remember that first like paid gig or that first gig where you just got a video done for someone? Where how'd that even come together?
Yeah, absolutely. So basically, I knew this group out of the Bronx called R Now, and shout out LP, shout out Nice, shout out Solo Jones, um, and the rest of the crew. Basically, my friend and I both went to St. John's, and he was talking to this other to Solo, because he used to rap back then, and they were just going back and forth. They met like through, I don't know exactly how they met. I just know they met online, like through some probably forum or something like that. And then he came to the one of the performances that we had at St. John's, and then through that I met up with them, or I met up with Solo. Started, just stayed in contact. It's been my boy now for like 10, 10, 11 years. And the first video that I shot was a song of them called Confidence, and it was Nice and LP. And it was just, it was on like the top of a roof. And yeah, back then, when I look back at it now, obviously, this the start of something, I don't like it now. But back then I definitely like I was definitely messing with it. But I still had a lot to learn. I put like a lot of text in weird areas, and some of the cuts aren't as smooth as they are now. So it was a learning process, but I mean they definitely took a chance, and LP has been uh, doing dope work now too. He's a producer. He has a lot of names under his belt, and he's just been grinding it out too. So we definitely, and he's still writing and rapping. So it's cool to see the progress, and how back then we're all like this, a little bit younger, a lot younger, but we all have the same dream. So we all came together and made something, and it's definitely propelled me, and it definitely has always been the inspiration, to get better each video.
That's sick, man. And it was cool. You haven't even just done videos, man. Like you've crossed it into film, and I remember going to the hip hop film festival,
Hmm.
and I'm watching something about who was it about,
That was
bro?
that was a the
Noriega.
That was a Chinx documentary,
Oh,
right?
the Chinx
Yeah,
documentary. Yeah,
yeah. The
yeah.
1 year later. Yes, yes. Shout out
Some
Miss J. She's a writer, and just a really dope hip hop mind, and just she's just a really great journalist. So she tapped into that because she had met Chinx. I want to say before he passed. I don't know
Okay.
how long it was, but she had kind of had that interaction, and she wanted to bring something to the table of what of his passing and how everybody felt a year later. So that was definitely that was a we had a short, tight frame. I think it was like a month that we created that in. It was like 2 weeks of shooting it, the interviews and everything, and then like 2 weeks of editing. And it was just like nonstop, like 24-hour edits, and like get an hour of sleep and then go right back into it.
Bro, that's how DMX made his second album, Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood. E.R. Cohen asked him, he's like, could you make an album in a month? And he said,
Hmm.
I got you.
Like,
And he made that album in a month.
hmm.
So undivided attention, bro. It goes
Absolutely.
back to it. You put your head down and you focus on
Hmm.
that one thing. And look what you got. You got a documentary out of it. R.I.P. to Chinx.
Absolutely.
So that was dope, man. Just pulling up. I was there on like a random school trip with like a teacher that I just connected with, and I spoke to her class, and that was part of the trip. And I'm in Harlem just chilling. I haven't been in Harlem in years, and
Hmm.
it was just a great vibe. And I saw my dude, and he was like, "Yo, I worked on this," and I was like, so
It's no
that's.
coincidences.
So I know you've been working on another film recently. How's that going for you, and what's it all about?
So yeah, my friend, he lives out in Buffalo, so he came to me about helping out with a short that he wrote, and then he was going to be the director on it. So Buffalo has an awesome film crew community, and he was able to get everything like greenlit through his one producer, and me and our friend Rebecca went up there. She was the lead in it, and yeah, so we drove up to Buffalo, and I was basically um, like a camera PA, so I was helping out the camera crew, and they pretty much had everything like kind of set up to where they know each other, and we're working, crazy uh crazy well together. So I didn't want to like keep pushing. Like I was just like, if you need me, I'm here. And then in the spare time, I was just getting some behind the scenes photos and video, just so if we ever want to make a little like documentary or something short about how it was made, we could definitely do that. And from everything that they came out with and everything that he was able to bring to the table, shout out Dan. His short 716, it's going to be dope. I'm excited for it.
And where can people find that? When is
Oh,
it coming out or it's out?
yeah, it's gonna be edited. Now he's working on it, so
Okay.
I'll definitely have to, keep you updated on where it'll be uh, promoted at, or if I think the aim is to try to get into some film festivals and stuff like that. So hopefully that'll work out, and then in the near future it'll be on other platforms.
So yeah, let's. I'm gonna actually uh, shoot over to your gram real quick, just so people could check you out.
Absolutely.
Make sure to follow my guy right here, Kells with a Z55, and then you could follow the journey right there. You could check out all his work.
So those first six are from the shoot.
Okay, they look like some nice. I'm feeling the lighting.
The color, yeah, the coloring and the lighting was on point.
So yeah, make sure to connect with my dude. Yeah, and I see you've been grinding, bro. So I feel like when you're an artist, bro, you're just an artist. Like,
Mm,
I shout out to my homegirl Phoenix. We just did a collab called Outside the Box, and I feel like as an artist, like you can't really be put in a box, and it's just been cool to just see you step out of your box. Because when I know you as the video
hmm
guru or the sensei, and
hmm
but you've been adding some new belts to your sensei vibe, bro.
Yeah,
And
this
so how's that going? I see you've been designing. You got the pod. You got so how's all that going for you?
yeah, appreciate it. Basically just, the whole pandemic kind of changed the way we attack things, and being home more than I was expecting. I kind of made some new adjustments, and I've had this Wacom tablet that I thought at first didn't work with my computer, but I didn't really like play around with it or learn it properly. Like you were kind of like what you were saying before. So all this extra time now, I started watching more tutorials on it and learning how to get the drawing looking the way I wanted, where it wasn't as jagged.
Mm,
And it literally would have been like probably like a 5 minute, 10 minute Google search if I would have done it back then, of figuring out, how to change the pen sensor, just like touching on the pad, and that really made me jump into learning more about the graphic, and just kind of just I started just getting friends that I had, and I would just put them. I what I do is I put the photo down first, and then I'll just trace over them, and then like add the coloring after.
mm.
But just like, yeah, just learning that more, and then that translated into when I was starting the podcast, we were figuring out like how to brand it and everything. And then I kind of just started drawing. I drew myself first, and then I drew my friend that I co-hosted with. And basically, I shot over like a design to him. I was like, "You like something like this?" And he was like, "Yeah, that's dope." So then we've been using that as our template. And then whoever we have as a guest, I'll just draw them out, and then they're kind of in the middle, and then um, yeah, and then from there I've been kind of just I'll have like a kind of like I said before, I was thinking about doing projects, and I was like, let me push it off for a little bit, let me push it off, and then I've just been trying to like get more into designing some stuff for like artists that like inspire me, and just figuring out different ways to incorporate that into like being creative.
That's that's what it's all about, man. I I say there is no limit if you believe
Mhm.
there isn't.
Mhm.
In my song with Frank Nitti,
Mhm.
get in the game. So you got in the game, and I think it's fun to just have fun with it, and it's cool when you just find the groove, and then
Mhm.
you just learn from everything you do.
Absolutely.
And
And
once you put it out there, you feel. I always say, just put it out. Of course, you want to be proud of it.
mhm.
We have a certain standard of what we do, but you see people interact with what you do, and you learn from every experience.
Absolutely. And like I obviously in like high school and stuff in middle school, you have art classes, and those were some things that I always like enjoyed. I always used to love, doing the projects that we had to do. Um and I had a couple ones that were good. I just never really like fully invested into that graphic aspect of it. But it just, yeah, it took me by surprise when I started seeing that, I was doing it pretty well. And then, I would send like photos of the person who we would have on the guest, and then like my co-host would be like, yo, that came out really good, like that one might be your best one yet, so it's just like little things like that. And then like you said, like I mean, I don't think I need a pat on the back. I can do stuff without, but it's always nice to hear like if people like your work, and like how they're receiving it. And I'm always one where if somebody has constructive criticism, I'm definitely going to take that to heart, and use it as a way to get better.
That's sick, man. So you've been just designing. You also got the podcast. So where can people find the podcast?
So the podcast is on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. I'm pretty sure it's on like Google and the other podcast
Mhm.
houses. And then we do have a YouTube channel. Um, and I do have to get more clips on there. I've been slacking a little bit, and then we have a Instagram and a Twitter, and the actual podcast is called "Got a Lot on Our Minds," and then it's GOTTA space lot. So yeah, right there, perfect.
Yeah, yeah. That
Appreciate it.
yeah, man.
So we just filmed yesterday, episode 21, or we recorded it, but that's been fun too. And then just I kind of also learned through like gaming. I've been learning about streaming and how to, go that route. I started a Twitch just to really in the future. I want to like when things get a little bit more normal. If I live stream concerts and stuff like that, or like host things like that, I'll know how to do it now. So I'm trying to do stuff that I enjoy, which is like gaming, but also in the back of my mind use it as like a template to learn how to stream properly, and if I have hiccups and stuff, how to really learn about it on the fly, so I'm prepared in the future.
That's I feel you, bro. Video is something it's part of our day to day, man.
Hmm.
YouTube is just huge. It's bigger than anything right now. So to be able to also like the sentimental fact of just being able to remember history and a time in people's lives, bro. I think that's like that. I feel like the true gift of what you're giving.
Hmm.
To be able to capsule time and to
Yeah.
look back and be like, oh, damn, I remember that whole day because of that 1 minute video
Hmm.
that guy made for me.
Yeah,
That
so
my
that's
boy Chris and Iconic made for me. You could look back, bro. I remember like whole. I I have like a music memory. I can remember the days I bought albums and like what
hmm.
happened that day because of that album. If you take that out, I'm done. I can't
Hmm.
remember it. But like I could associate it with that, or I could associate it with a photo or a
Hmm.
video.
Yeah, same with me.
So for
Um,
you to be able to bring that in a theatrical way, where it's not just start finish 1 hour, you know what I mean? You you pack it together in a way for people to really remember that day and that part of their history or their career is just that's just a special thing, bro.
yeah, that's one of my favorite things about is just being able to capture a moment and just solidifying it in history, like you said. You know, it lives forever as long as it and the internet's here, or as long as you don't corrupt your files. It's it's definitely something that there's a weight to it, but as long as you like know what you're doing, you know, and you have faith in yourself that you can uh, perform and bring that special moment to, you know, to how you envisioned it, then yeah, I mean, there's always times it's like an artist going up performing. No matter how many times you've performed, you still get those butterflies. You know, it's not like you're second guessing yourself. You're just nervous. You know, you want to put on your best performance and things like that. So, yeah, I'm always grateful for the opportunity for sure.
That's a blessing, bro. To It doesn't seem like you're fighting your destiny. It seems like you're walking it.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And like that's just special to just I I always think about, okay, I think as if I'm going to live to 80, 90, right?
Hmm.
I always look back. I'm like, am I going to look back when I'm 80 to now and be disappointed? I'm going to be like, no. You know what I mean? The only
Hmm.
thing, I don't really have any disappointments. Because everything that happened was something that taught me either that ain't for me, that or that is for me.
Hmm.
And what did I do next? Right? It's like, as complicated as everything was, that's kind of how it is. And it's just cool, bro, that you're walking in your destiny and you're living the dream. And you're helping other people remember their dream and propel their dream in a theatrical, memorable way. So that's dope, man.
I appreciate it. Can't say it better myself. It's it's always fun to or it's interesting to see, you know, talk to other creatives, and I love to hear other people's perspectives. That's one thing that I've been as I've matured. You know, obviously growing up, you might like only have this one perspective until you start to really, you know, until you start to experience the world more. And you know, getting out of my smaller town, learning about other cultures, other people, other backgrounds. It's just it to me that's one of the great things about living. And and that's something that like moving forward I kind of want to get more into, like just being able to tell people stories. So it's yeah, I enjoy getting different perspectives for sure. And I appreciate what you said, because that's definitely a it's a positive way to spin everything. And I know that you're very big on positive. And what I will have to say about stereotype too is just being able to see your journey too, seeing all of the lives that you've changed, all the bookmarks that you've sent out, even though it might not seem like a lot to a lot of people, you're definitely changing lives. And then just having that mantra of don't stop dreaming, you know, that's always been something that I've kept in the back of my mind. So I definitely
Man.
appreciate you for that.
Oh man, bro. Of course, man. That if I don't, I preach what I teach. You know,
Mm,
that's the only way. It's tatted on my arm, and
mhm,
I only have two tattoos: love and don't stop dreaming. So I got more on tats on the way, but probably my next one is peace.
mm,
But it's really only about that. We really, we're here on Earth. As far as I know, I act like only one time. I don't want to get so deep and be like
mm,
talk about other lives and stuff and reincarnated and stuff like that. I don't need to, but I try to just treat the life that I live here as only one, right? And
mhm.
Drake said it, YOLO,
Yep.
and let's just make it count and the impact we have, bro. Um, and I fe- and I feel like it what I've been doing lately, bro, I've been just putting I haven't been putting so much pressure on myself to make money.
Mhm.
I feel like I I feel like it's messed me up in the past
Mhm.
where it was like it became like if I didn't make the money, it was like not good enough.
Mhm.
And maybe it helps that I'm maybe making more,
Mhm.
that I'm maybe saying this, but I'm really not. There's been 10 years ago I was making more,
Mhm.
but I was doing a bunch of shit that I felt horrible about.
Mhm.
I was basically soliciting people on the phone. Like the one job I had
Mm.
the last 10 years that wasn't like a business of my own. Um that was I was doing better than, I guess, more money. But right now, bro, like I, I think we got to chase emotional wealth.
Mhm.
And I feel like this time, bro, it could break us or it can make us.
Mhm.
And that's why I cherish these calls. To me, bro, I would the pods that you could look at and be like, oh, I only got 10 views. Oh no, it's not working out. Like, nah, like right now, bro, like being able to just talk to someone about their dream and then connect with them and just have that moment, that to me, bro, is emotional wealth.
Mhm.
And I feel like we got to chase that. And I feel like once you could get that and you could find that piece, everything
Oh yeah.
else is just like, all right. Okay, no, they didn't call me on my birthday, whatever. Like, you're if you could find that emotional wealth, it's
Mhm.
just so powerful. And I think it's filling your day with stuff that make that matters to you.
Mhm.
And it's just cool to talk to people like you, bro, that do it. And then you make time for you. I saw you were chilling with your grandma
Yes.
on her
Uh,
birthday.
always.
So shout out to Connie.
Yeah, shout out Connie. She's a dope artist. That's probably where I get some of my creativity from. She does a lot of like scenery painting and things of that nature. And like she does do positive sayings and other things like that. But yeah, and even to get back to like what you said, I kind of feel like it's a perspective change too, because I feel like social media has dictated like, we need to get this many views and things like that. But from something that I saw earlier, I don't even know if it was like weeks ago or months ago. If you're like at an actual art show and you had like 10 people show up, like that would mean the world to you, I feel like. But then if you get like 10 likes, that's when like you're kind of like down in the dumps. But
Mhm.
it's just, I mean, it's still 10 people, so it may not seem like a lot, but I try not to like get too down if I'm not getting um like the likes or the I feel like I'm getting the views or anything that I feel like it should, because I've kind of seen sometimes where my following may not be that big right now, and if I posted a video and somebody with a lot more views posted that same video, I've seen the response from them as
Mhm.
opposed to like not having as many followers and just getting like friends and family to comment on it. And that kind of has shown me that, there is value in the work that I'm doing, because over here
Totally.
it's still getting that like everybody's like saying it's fire, everybody's like giving it good reviews. So I've used that as a way to like be like, all right, not gonna I'm not gonna get down on myself too much, because then that's when you're like, all right, should I still do this? I just try to, like, you stay as positive as possible.
Bro, that's so real, man. Like, do you ever think about this, bro? Like, what was going through Nas's mind when he was making Illmatic? Bro, he wasn't thinking about the views.
Mm-hmm.
He was thinking about capturing his life.
Mm-hmm.
and it's like the most beautiful album.
Mm-hmm.
If you really like think about it from like a poetic like world or just a street world, bro, he bottled his life up
Mm.
and he brought it to us, and he gave us anthems for basically almost 3 decades.
Yeah.
So I feel like, right, like, and Jay, bro, was he worried about that? No, they were just worried about making something special
Yeah.
and sharing their story. And I feel like what made the difference, it's how they did it, it's the way they did it, it was the story.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, and now it could get a little cloudy because we see instant gratification,
Yes.
Instagram,
Yep.
but I think it's just still so important. Just whatever you're doing, focus on that thing that you're doing, and just make it special to you.
Yeah.
And the what's meant to be will be. You know what I mean? Like, not think about it, bro. Nas is just so nasty. Like, he had to make it
Yeah.
because he was spending so much time on that craft. Like, he wasn't surfing and you know what I mean? Like, which is all cool. He was full force, and that was his thing. And bro, there was no other way. He had to make it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think whatever you're doing, whoever's out there, make that thing, bro. Make that, share your story. And my boy right here is sharing his story and helping others share their stories.
That's just what I'm trying to do more of. I definitely think being behind the camera, I haven't as been as vocal about like myself, and sometimes I don't like talking about myself too much, but I'm still
Yeah.
trying to like find that happy medium where I can still I've found out through the years of doing this that like you're still inspiring people, so it's like you definitely, it's definitely nice to give back to them and kind of tell like your route and how you did it so that it might help them do it a certain way, or like what not to do. um so yeah, I mean, just I definitely think that telling your story is something that's major key, as the DJ Khaled would say.
And bro, this all connects from what I was saying earlier about regrets, bro. I just remembered one of my regrets.
Okay.
The only real regret I have is not documenting how I felt during my best and my worst times in my
Mm,
life. Only regret. That's it. Mic drop. Like,
cool.
that's my only regret in this world is like, yeah, bro, I think about it. The times where I was going through some crazy shit, like maybe I
Mm,
was in a relationship, I was driving, I got punched in the face, and I was like, what the hell's going on? Like, and I didn't do anything to the person. I was just like, I'm not driving faster. And then I got popped in the face. Like, I was in some like weird movie.
mm,
Bro, I wish that I recorded that, not put it out on YouTube or whatever. Just had a little thing like on a cassette, because I think just being able to put things in perspective and remember that time,
mm-hmm,
I think it changes how you take your next move. But sometimes you're just caught up in the next move. You're just like, oh, whatever. I'll wake up. I'll do it again.
mm-hmm,
If I took that time, you never know, right? It still happened. I couldn't have erased that weird moment where someone
mm-hmm.
popped me in the face that I was dating, like my first love, right? Whatever. It is what it is. I'll put it out there. I wish that I talk, and then I recorded something else to be more positive. The first show we did, almost going on 13 years ago.
Mm,
My brother Paul and I could watch the video. I wish I had a recording or like an after film thing where us talking or us praying or something where it was like I could remember that feeling.
yeah.
And that's really the only regret I have, man, in this world. And I feel like here you are, bro. You're able to get that for people.
Mm-hmm.
You know that it's really the only regret I have is I wish that I like wrote something down when I was dealing with it or when I was winning
Mm-hmm.
because there were times I was winning and I felt weird. I was like, "Yo, why do I feel this way? I'm making a lot of money, but
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm stealing." You know what I mean? Or like there were times like that.
Yeah.
Or oh, I'm selling weed. I just got caught. I got pulled over in Newark, Jersey. Like these are real stories, right? I'm
Yeah.
kind of putting it out there, but like I wish I could look back on that day, whatever day that was, April 20th, 2007, and listen to my voice of what Dave Noodles was thinking that day.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. That's my only regret.
That's pretty dope to only have a couple, but for sure.
But yeah, man, I think it's important to just capture your story, and I think it's dope you're out there getting capturing people's story and helping them remember those even bad times aren't when you look back you're like, you know what, I made it through and look where I am today.
Yeah.
Like that happened. It wasn't the best relationship I was in, but here I am. Not to put my business out there, but great things happened a few weeks ago, and taking great next steps.
Yeah.
I haven't put it out publicly, but like I had to go through that to get to where I am today.
Yeah.
So shout out to my first love for showing me she wasn't my last love.
Yeah, for sure. And better things have came along since. So that's definitely the only way to look at
For
it. And
sure.
putting that positive spin, I think definitely is the only way that I try to do it. I always try to find the silver lining in life and moments, and there's always like a learning experience for sure.
Yeah, man, and being that you're in film and capturing video and all this, what's like a movie that really moved you?
Okay, good question. So my favorite movie that really has moved me, and just basically most of the movies from him, is Interstellar, and just Christopher Nolan's movies.
What?
And it's just being that I also love like space and the idea of like what's out there, and just how in depth he goes with his movies. So Interstellar, Inception, Memento, recently Tenet. Like
Okay.
his movies are always so just, I don't even know how you write this kind of stuff. Like you have to just be like pedal to the metal, like focusing. I know Tenet, I think, took him like 5 years to write. So that's just cool to think that you're spending all your time on like a project. Not maybe not all of your time, but you're spending at least this long period of time to come up with like this one project. And to me, that's totally like 100% inspiring because I haven't spent that long on a project, but I know I'd definitely be willing to. If I know something is that great and then maybe it's not the right way that it has to be put out to the public yet, but I have to spend more time to do something. You know, it's that's where the dedication takes, and knowing yourself and knowing when the right time to put something out is.
That's real. I gotta check that movie out. What is it? It's called
It's Tenet.
Interstellar.
Interstellar, yeah, is the one that I love, and then Tenet most recently,
Tenet.
and then the director is Christopher Nolan, and also the writer.
Tenet is Tenet an old movie?
No, it actually just came out
Oh,
basically in 2021.
oh, okay, okay,
It was like a couple, I believe it was the beginning of the year, or maybe it was the end of 2020. Um,
oh, okay. Got you.
but it's with John David Washington.
Okay,
Yeah, so he's been killing it. And then it just like I really love how actors portray characters. And one thing about like film and television for me is being able to transport myself into like the feelings of those characters. So if there's like really heavy emotional scenes, I like to kind of just let myself try to feel like what they're going through. And that's just something that I've always enjoyed doing, and being able to like see an actor just go to such lengths to bring a character to life. to me is just like one of the coolest things.
Who's one of your favorite actors or
Ooh,
actresses?
that's a good question. Um, damn, on the spot. That's a
You could have top five. You know, I know how these worlds are.
a lot of I really love Tom Hardy and what he does. And I appreciate how he can really not have a lot of lines in a movie and still also portray like the feelings of that character. So like something like Mad Max where he's not really talking. Bane, he has a lot of lines, but you're not seeing his mouth, and he's
Mm.
just basically using the his eyebrows or his eyes to dictate what he's feeling, and then his hand motions. Um, and then just playing two brothers in one movie where they have two different personalities in Legend. To me, that's just where you get a sense of who a character is. And then also in Dunkirk, which was by Christopher Nolan,
Mm.
that movie, he's an airplane pilot, and he also doesn't have that many lines, but you can still get a sense of the character and what he's like kind of feeling through like different hand and gestures and facial features.
Interesting, because those are all movies I haven't seen.
Oh, okay.
Every movie you mentioned.
I think recently, um, I love Chadwick Boseman, and I wish we would have been able to see more of him.
Me
Um,
too.
John David Washington is slowly creeping up. I love Michael B. Jordan, and then I feel like I'm gonna butcher his name. Oh, I'm gonna have to come back to it. What movie was he in? I have to look this up real quick, or else I'm gonna forget. If you want to start talking about something else, I'll just chime in real quick.
Ah, it's all good. No worries. So
All right,
those are good. Those are all excellent choices. Did you see the new Judas movie?
that's
Like,
the movie I was thinking about. That was really good. I love
I gotta see
Lakeith
it.
Stanford Field. He
Mm.
he he's slowly, and I've been saying this for a while. I feel like he hasn't, like, maybe until this movie, a lot of people haven't realized the um range that he has as an actor, because he's been in such different like movies, from like a love movie, like a romance, to like this movie where he's playing a Black Panther, um and I feel like his performance is always so out there, and he really, like, I feel like you can feel how he feels in the
Mm.
moments. And he I don't want to say he overacts, because it's not overacting, it's just he really brings out the emotion, which is something I love in an actor.
I gotta watch that one. It's on
And
my
I
list.
I thought it was a very good movie. You might get a little mad at it, but obviously, because once you start to learn about, obviously, history and what has gone on,
Yeah.
you know, it's definitely not what you would want to understand or realize, these things actually happened.
Yeah, man. I I, I probably would say Denzel, bro.
Yeah,
It's my dude. I love Leo as well.
yeah, I would definitely put Leo in my top 5, but Denzel's definitely.
Denzel is there, man. He's just. I love He Got Game. I know that's not really on anyone's like top five movie wise, but that to me, Spike and Denzel, bro.
Yeah,
Spike's probably my favorite
mhm,
director.
Spike's crazy.
Just memorable. Like just giving me films that I still remember and scenes that just like are part of culture to me.
Mhm,
Just being like a hip hop kid and um just the Spike film just hit me as a youth and still and Black Klansman, that was just that was crazy,
mm,
bro.
I
And
think I still have to see that one, actually.
oh, bro,
Yeah,
get ready, man.
I'll
I don't want to
definitely
hype it up, but that was definitely my favorite movie of whatever year that came out with.
okay.
Whatever movie year that was my favorite movie of the year. I think it was 2019. Um, Sick. It was just so he they tapped into so many things and it was
Oh,
so real.
John David Washington was in that too.
Yeah.
He's been killing it. I also like Jordan Peele as a director.
Oh yeah. He's
He's been
climbing, man.
crazy.
He's had
Oh
a
man,
great last few years, and he's shining.
absolutely. And it's funny how like if you were to think where he would be now from where he started, being on Key and Peele, like you would have never guessed that transformation. But it's cool to see that like you're not always going to be cast in this one box, where certain people are always like in one role they're always cast as, and they might want to do more. Um, it's like the guy who was on Breaking Bad,
Mm.
who was
Oh
always like that kind of like snippy, like funny character, is now going to be in an action movie. And the first time I remember thinking, the first time I saw that trailer, like the first like 15, 20 seconds, I was like, all right, so where's the comedy? And I'm
mm.
just like, all right, well, maybe I should pump the brakes because this looks like an actual action movie. And then it's like, yeah, just try not to judge people off of what they've done before. I think is something that's cool, and seeing how Jordan has done such a amazing movie since. I think one of my favorite like documentary um filmmakers is Ava DuVernay.
Okay.
She's
I
just
gotta get more
she's
into all that.
she's phenomenal. She did the 13th Selma was an actual movie. And then she did um the movie about the Central Park, um the exonerated five.
Mm.
It was like I think it was a four part series.
Okay.
Um when they was it When They See Us or Now They See Us.
Mm.
I
Okay.
think it's Now They See Us. But that was something that she just did so well.
I gotta. That's cool. You even know documentary uh, directors. I
Mhm.
can't say I do, but I'm. That's cool to just open the world up. I love documentaries, so
Yeah, me too.
I definitely will look into more of her work. If
And
you can, send me a link or two.
oh yeah, absolutely. And she's also doing I don't know if it's a 4 or 5 part series, or and maybe it's less, but she's doing the documentary on Colin Kaepernick. That I don't know exactly when it's coming out, but um, that should definitely be awesome to watch too, just from her past work and knowing about like what has been done to him by the NFL. I'm definitely enjoying to see. I'm waiting to see that one for sure.
So we covered a lot of stuff, man.
Absolutely.
Let's each throw a dream out there.
Ooh,
It where someone may look at it far fetched, you may look at it far fetched, but I think if you could dream it, you could see it. If you could see it, you could believe it, and then you could dream it and make it happen. So like,
absolutely.
I don't know if you want me to go first. You go first, or you.
Nah, it's cool. I'll go first.
So
I would
like, it could be
definitely.
whatever something you see yourself. It may seem like Michael B. Jordan, Chris Kelly.
Mhm,
Maybe you may even doubt it a little bit. I'm
mhm.
not saying you do, but like throw it out there and let's throw something out. Let's see. We'll check back in a few years.
Perfect. Yeah. Definitely to have an own space to create, whether it's something smaller, something a little bit larger, just to be able to like, if I want to go throw some, you know, ideas on the wall and just create some photos, or like be able to uh, create some visuals. Yeah, definitely to have a studio space.
There you go. That's do it, bro. I see that even. I don't want to put pressure, but you put it out there. I always
Absolutely.
say let people know your dreams
Hmm.
because you really don't know who's listening, man.
That's
I
true.
I did a whole post about how I needed an office,
Hmm.
and in 2 months I had an office.
That's dope.
I was busting my hiney to get to that point, but someone saw the post. They were looking for an office. The dots connected. So
Hmm.
let people know your dreams, man. And that this one I feel is I didn't know what you were gonna hit me with, but I see this. So
Definitely.
that's dope.
Appreciate it. What about yourself?
So one of my dreams is to put out a children's book, and it's so and then start like a line of them. Like I want to
Mm,
work with specific people on them.
mm-hmm.
Um, my goal, my dream, I already have one. It's written already. We just pretty much have to get it illustrated.
Mm,
So, you know, as long as I'm blessed with another year or so of life, I'm believing that's possible. But to throw out the next one that may seem a little far fetched, or maybe like, oh, I don't know if Noodles could pull that off. I want to work with one of the founding members of hip hop on a children's book. That's but my goal first, not to put all my business out there. I wanna do one independently,
mm,
show that I have skin in the game, show that I could deliver, and I'm someone worth working with in
mm-hmm.
that industry. Then knock on the door of who I want to talk to. So my friend Jermaine and I got something in the works. I'm really excited to share it, and it's pretty much written already. So I just got to bring it to life, and
Mm-hmm.
we have a couple of illustrators that we got. We're narrowing it down. So I want to get that one out. That's my get on first base, and then I'll go for the home run.
And knock it out the park. Yep.
But the first one is very important to me, so not to downplay it.
Mm-hmm.
It's very special, and if it comes out, I really we may have to do a I may have to hit you up to document something about
Oh
it.
yeah, definitely. That sounds fun.
My friend's story is very special, and I'm
Mm,
very grateful that we intersected at the time, and we have a special uh, bond together, and something really dope that we've been building for the last few years with Stereotype, not like the other kids. So like
mm-hmm.
to see that come to a new platform is really special to me. So I uh I look forward to that day um to put it
Yeah,
out.
that's dope. Not to cut you off, but I definitely love that collab too. Not like the other kids is definitely. I've always had my eye on that. That one's. It's such a like. It's I don't know. It's just like a good message.
Yeah, man. It's to me it's like its own baby, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
I always wanted to make more brands, and to me for it to just mesh with the first brand, but it to be almost its own thing is and it be so natural, and like of course it's inspired by a young man in a wheelchair that goes out and gets it and has no excuses. So
Yeah.
it's very easy for me. He has it harder in life, and the way his attitude is special. So
Mm,
just the fact that we could collab together and the idea clashed in a good way, and so many people have been inspired by his story. I really want to just keep inspiring people with my brother's story. So shout out to him. I may have leaked some info, but no one has the manuscript. So
yes.
so yeah,
I'm
those
definitely looking forward to that for
yeah,
sure.
it's cool. It's special to me, and I'm excited to represent my homie, and I know that he'll be. I know we're gonna inspire more people, and kids of all ages. That's the goal. Is really just we're not like the other kids. It's like we're all the same because we're all not the same. So we have, we're different, but that's what makes us similar, right? And I think no one should hate each other because of it. It's like, all
Mm,
right, you're not me, I'm not you. You're different, I'm different. We're actually the same. So why hate on each other? And I feel like not like the other kids, just that reminder, and that's shout out to the homie Jermaine and everyone that supported it and continues.
It's definitely dope. Love that.
Yeah, man. So, bro, we could probably keep rocking for like, for like a basketball game series of 7. But yo, this was a really dope convo. Once again, shout out to my boy. Make sure to follow him. Let people know where they could check all your journey and your story and all
Yeah,
your stuff.
so appreciate it. I definitely love the time and catching up and being able to talk to you. So on Instagram and pretty much all the most of the social medias, it's at KELLZ55. And then the actual podcast is at Got a Lot on Our Minds. The brand is Eyeconic Visions, EYECONIC VISIONS, and that should cover everything, I think. Oh, and also I'm gonna shout out my grandma's. Hers is at Nanny's Treasure Chest. So that's on Instagram. So yeah, definitely check it out, and then from there you can check out her Etsy store. So yeah, I mean those are the brands and the things I'm working on. So appreciate you for sure.
Appreciate you, bro. It, you're always welcome back. Let's
Definitely
talk again once you get that studio, and
for
we'll
sure, and
give you a tour.
definitely would love to have you on our podcast for sure.
Yeah, keep me in the loop, man. I would love it. That'd be great.
Perfect.
So, yo, thank you everyone for tuning in to Type 88. Till next time, don't stop dreaming.